Dear Hillary Clinton supporters, I can only imagine how you must feel. I at least had 2 years to ready myself and much of my life, including emotionally, to Hillary Clinton's supposed coronation. And for many of you, that coronation came really crashing down in the minutes that the election was being called and the votes were coming in. Now this mourning period is gonna pass. Afterwards, a lot of people I'm seeing are saying that a vote for Trump was anti-LGBTQ, was anti-Muslim, was anti-black, was anti-woman, was anti-Hispanic. And if you think that this was a prejudiced decision to vote for Donald Trump, then that's just plain ignorance. You do not know. My vote for Donald Trump absolutely kept all those people in mind. And I'm just going to go through them rapid fire as quickly as I can. Let's start off with Muslims. I think Hillary Clinton did a grave disservice to the Muslim community by not recognizing radical Islamic terrorism within the Muslim community. It doesn't help the Muslim community sort through the things that it's sorting out. If this radical Islamic terrorism is just a perversion of Islam, then the Muslim people worldwide need to sort out this perversion and draw a line. And her not recognizing that did not help support that community. Furthermore, and here's the big one, her actions and inactions as Secretary of State in destabilizing the Middle East, North Africa, and Europe, and starting a mostly Muslim majority refugee crisis, but also Christians and other peoples, is just purely unacceptable. She was asleep at the wheel, and it has cost millions of Muslims their lives and quality of life. Go in detail on one example, Libya. We started a war in Libya. We started a war with Gaddafi. We ousted Gaddafi, and she had no after-action plan. A lot of people focus on the 4 dead Americans there. I come from a military family, and it's not so much the death that bothers me. It's that we lost the strategic mission entirely. Because there was no leadership, there was no initiative. Libya right now, after the United States' action and inaction and lack of leadership in that country under Hillary Clinton, that majority Muslim country is now one of the slavery capitals of the world. So how a Hillary Clinton vote could be a vote for Muslims worldwide, I'm not buying it. Furthermore, now I'll move on, the LGBTQ community. Well, I have family that are LGBTQ, and there is no one in this country who is more at risk statistically for assault and murder than black trans people. And this is a community that is having a real tough time, frankly, with concealed carry permits because many of them are undergoing gender reassignment or confirmation surgery and procedures. And the licensing and the stipulations and the regulations involved with actively protecting themselves is incredibly dubious, can become tumultuous, and criminalize someone who is just trying to protect themselves. So I took issue with that, and we all know that a crime bill can be passed with the best of motivations, but can be inadvertently, disproportionately racist or some sort of prejudice, including sexist. And this anti-firearm, anti-Second Amendment regulations does manifest itself extremely in a disproportionately racist, sexist, and transphobic manner. So you may be pro-gun control, but you have to recognize that that is going to manifest itself in a racist, sexist, and anti-transgender way. I mean, right now our SBR laws, I feel, disproportionately affect women than it does men. So that's just another example, and the Pink Pistols would probably be on my side on them, and shout out to them, the Pink Pistols, for finally getting some breaking down the wall of this judicial obstructionism in the District of Columbia, and finally allowing people, especially gay people who are most at risk of gay bashing, to finally get some concealed carry permits. Even though the Constitution should be your gun permit, they are finally breaking down that wall, and good on them for doing that. That's just one example. And furthermore, the LGBTQ community, I understand they're scared right now, but the bottom line is, the Supreme Court decision on gay marriages, and I say this as a Republican, was absolutely the right decision. The method in which they went about it, by interpreting it through the 14th Amendment, I thought was wrong. It should have been at least a constitutional amendment to the 14th Amendment based on sexual orientation, including that in the 14th Amendment, or having a constitutional amendment that allows for gay marriage, or allowing the federal Congress to legislate basically with reciprocity of marriage licenses. You have to understand that the way you go about things is important. So especially the Democratic Party needs to recognize that 14th Amendment interpretation that allowed for gay marriages based on that states were discriminating against other people from other states based on that those states were not recognizing their marriage licenses issued from another state was discriminatory. Basically, when a state issues a license, say a driver's license, my driver's license is from Pennsylvania, well, no matter where I drive in the country, they have to recognize that driver's license. It should be the same thing with a concealed carry permit. And, you know, amen to the Pink Pistols for finally getting that through in the District of Columbia, and we look forward to having that done very much in the same way that the gay marriage decision was done. The next one is the black community. There has never been a group of people more, you know, I don't even know what the right word is. And unfortunately, the demagoguery within the black community is not helping. The D Party has not helped break down the barriers of race under Obama's administration. I think it's gotten way worse. Schools have not improved. We keep throwing money at the problem, and it's not an increasing initiative. It's lessening it. So I absolutely kept the black community in mind when I made my vote. This issue of race is permeating, it seems, every subtlety of our day-to-day lives, when it shouldn't. We should be judging people on the basis of their character, not on the color of their skin. And it seems like when a candidate is inferring that we all have, what was the word she used? This unconscious racism about us that there's nothing that we can do about. Well, I just disagree with that fundamentally, because I live in Philadelphia, and I'm, you know, doing everything I can to judge everybody around me based on their character. You know, respect is earned, but I'm not gonna hold something against somebody, and I don't want it held against me just because I'm a white cis male and a Republican, that I should be stereotyped into being a prejudiced person. It's absolutely ridiculous. And furthermore, the notion that all these minorities, and I'm a minority myself, you just can't tell that from the color of my skin, should have to cater to a political ideology simply because you fit in these stereotypes the Democratic Party has put out, that somehow if you vote Republican you're anti-women, is just ridiculous. Has it ever occurred to any one of you that after 50% of white women in this country vote for either party, that's kind of exactly what we're going for? But when 90% or 90+% of the black community vote one way, that might inherently be a racist decision. We should not be voting for candidates based on the color of their skin or their sex or their gender or what have you. You should be voting on the content of their character and their political positions. Now, you may think that some of those political positions are inherently prejudiced, but that's a discussion we can have. But if you're constantly calling people some sort of prejudice and then expecting them just to cater to your big government views, then you're sorely mistaken, and it's clear you have been. One-third of the Hispanic population voted for Trump. Are we to believe? What the hell? Dog in my backyard. Are we to believe that 1/3 of Hispanics are prejudiced against Hispanic people? Whenever you look at the community and the policies involved and everything, has it ever occurred to you that there might be more important issues to those communities than simply the associating similar labels? Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote for the black guy. Just because I'm white absolutely not voting for someone based on the color of their skin. It's ridiculous and it's racist. If you voted for Hillary Clinton because she was a woman, that is a sexist decision. You voted based on that person's sex. That is a sexist decision. Now, can that person, does that person understand more? Has that person experienced more because of their sex, because of their label? That's an argument to be made. Sure. But you can't have that overlook all the other things that person has done. And I certainly do believe the other women who said that Hillary Clinton knew and intimidated them after her husband had raped or sexually assaulted these women. And that's not acceptable to me. Now, did Trump have accusers? Sure, he did. In the 9th inning, he had accusers. And this is different from Bill and Hillary Clinton's accusers, who came out either immediately after the fact or very close to after the fact. One was even a Democratic strategist. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. A Democratic strategist. So, versus Trump, which was many, many years after the fact, in which there's not even a contest. And it's almost assumed that when a powerful person runs for a powerful position, that there are going to be people out there who, for whatever crazy reason, are going to come out and say some stuff. And we have to, people are innocent until proven guilty. And based on the Bill Clinton's accusers' basically testimony, you know what? I believed them. And why? Because I feel like Bill Clinton's grand jury testimony, if you watch it, corroborates his behavior and corroborates Hillary Clinton's behavior. Now, you may see that and you may not believe me, but I'm getting way, way, way off topic. But in a sense, what I'm saying is I believe that voting for Trump was a feminist decision. Now, I'm going to catch flack for that, but I don't care. I don't care to be intimidated to vote for somebody. And the fear-mongering that has come out of the left's camp about Trump has been overblown, and it's blinding. I'm sorry to say that I truly believed that Hillary Clinton was going to get elected, but you know what? It just wasn't there. It just was not there. And if you think it was because just the FBI coming out and saying, she's an incompetent person, well, yeah, sure, that may have something to do with it. Absolutely. But again, that's me voting on her character as her being incompetent when it comes to classified and government secure sensitive information, SSI, and has nothing to do with her gender. And let me make a small government argument to you very quickly. You may have been an absolute fan of President Obama, and you may have been okay with his rapid expansion of executive authority because you agreed with his policies and and just agreed with him in general. But now you can see how someone you don't like will have Obama's presidency, his tenure, as precedence to have and maintain those same powers and even continue that expansion. I'm talking about assassinating Americans with a secret drone list without trial by jury. even in abstention, no trial by jury. It's unconstitutional, it's not okay. And now, whether you like it or not, the next guy has that power. Enforcing the DREAM Act through executive order. You know, signing a treaty with a foreign government that was never ratified by Congress, didn't keep Congress in the loop, and having prisoner exchanges with a terrorist organization, an official American recognized terrorist organization, without the approval from Congress, as was stated by law. Now, you may have been in favor of those things on their head, but that rapid expansion of executive authority and the de-escalation or the disenfranchisement of Congress under the Constitution, well, that precedence now applies to the next guy. So my hope is that we can all agree we need to wind that expansion back. And we need to get back to the Constitution. We need to get back to limited government. And here's the thing, if you were very upset about the election, that should be a learning point that, you know what, the government should not be so involved with our lives. There's very little conscientious consumerism within government. I have a pothole in front of my house. It has been there for months. I have called, I have whatever. I get no accountability. If it was a private road, well, then we'd have more direct access. So that's my hope. My hope is, after this mourning period, we will see a healing process where the races, the religions, the complexions, the sexual orientations, the genders, the different political views will all be able to come together, have a beer, drink some tea, break some bread, and chill out. And hopefully, at the same time, recognize that government is way too big, whether you like the guy or not. The government should be winded back and made smaller and more efficient. That's just my hope. That's just my prayer. I'm Grant Schmidt with the Millennial Republican channel. I feel for you guys. And let me know what you think. Express your First Amendment rights in comments and subscribing. And take care.